Gonzaga Nation SI with myself, Dan Dickau, your host, along with our co-host, Adam Morrison. We are in week 2 of the college basketball season for Gonzaga. You know what? We got an unbelievable second part of this second week if you're a Gonzaga fan. We got Texas on the road in Austin. We've got Kentucky. It's supposedly a neutral site game in Spokane. We got Adam and I here to break down a lot of it. Mo, you've been calling the radio games for a couple of years now. You saw the drubbing that Drew Timme put on Texas in the kennel last year. He goes to his home state. What's your early thoughts as we head to Austin with Drew going up against the Longhorns again?
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I mean, Chris Beard's team last year was kind of a mixture of, well, it was mostly grad transfers and then mixing in their younger recruits. So it was a team on paper that was supposed to be really good to start based on experience. Didn't look great against us. Obviously, Drew played fantastic, but they got it figured out later in the year and had a good season. I think this year they're going to be more sound and more ready to go. It's not his first year, it's his second year. Defensively, going off what he's done in the past at Texas Tech, who's given us problems. Obviously, we played him in that Elite Eight game, and was it 2019 or 2018? Is they're going to, ice all side ball screens, switch everything, force you into taking 12 to 16 footers with a contested hand. So you have to be able to play through that type of deal. It's the first true big game in the Moody Center, $300 million center that they just opened. They're going to be ripping and roaring for that. So and for us, if you really think about it, Nolan, Hunter, Malachi Smith, these guys have been fantastic early to start, but they haven't played in a true Gonzaga Foxhole, road game yet. So I think it's going to be a great test for us. We match up better inside than they do, but they play small and they play fast and they foul and grab and hold. So I think it's going to be a good game as far as contrasting styles. I'm interested to see our guys react. I know we're good enough skill wise, but like I said, it's not, we don't have a lot of true road games anymore, especially early.
Yeah.
And so I tip my hat off to Coach Few for, getting this type of game. They're going to be excited down there because we only won by 12, but it was a 30-point game most of the time at the kennel. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it's a fantastic matchup with two contrasting styles.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to want a little bit of revenge. That word revenge to me is overused in sports, but they're going to remember it. They're going to remember they got smacked. They really weren't in the game in the second half. They did make it respectable with the point differential. But, when you look at the Moody Center, and I went online the other day and looked at the pictures. It is off the charts. Like, it's an NBA type arena. When you look back at your time in college, is there one arena or two that stands out to you? Be like, man, that was amazing.
No, we played in all dumps. I mean, you're talking about the
Didn't you play in the Madison Square Garden? Wasn't that one of your first teams?
But it's a dump that everybody loves, but it's not like, it's cool, but it's not $300 million, college stadium cool or whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just excited to see, how their fans are going to react, because I like true road games. And like I said, we don't play a lot of them. And then the ones we do in the West Coast Conference, there's about two challenging, BYU and then St. Mary's. No offense to anybody else, but it's usually over by halftime. So the excitement is really there. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fun experience for, our guys, and a challenging one. Because to me, I don't see us being favorites, and if it is, it's a pick 'em, in my opinion, type of game. So it's a great challenge for them to see if they can step up and get a win.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's a true road game, and it's probably I would imagine it's the first marquee game in that arena.
It is.
You mentioned Madison Square Garden. You take the bus into the loading dock, and then you walk up the little ramp, turn the corner, you get on the loading dock elevator. Did you ever see any rats or mice in MSG?
No, I didn't. I was lucky enough not to, but yeah, it's got a cool nostalgia vibe to it, obviously. But um, yeah, it's not like I said, 300 million compared to an NBA arena sounds cheap too, which is gross how you even
Yeah.
think about it now. You know what I'm saying? But like
Yep.
for a college arena, they did a good job of raising that money, or getting an endowment or whatever they did and build a new one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that game. Obviously, you'll be there in person, calling it on the radio. But it leads into another big time non-conference. I mean, the first couple weeks where you and I are kind of chatting about the season, it's going to be like big game, big game, big game,
Mm-hmm.
because you got the last week, then you got this week, then you got the PK 85. But you have Kentucky coming to Spokane. That is a bucket list type game for a lot of fans. The only problem is they're not playing in the Kennel. It's a neutral site game at Spokane Arena. I think a lot of that has to do with Coach Cal's commentary on things, but also Coach Few probably, I would imagine, having to say, whatever, we'll do it. Just come here, come to Spokane, play us, and then we'll figure out the rest later, which they did because it's a 6-year deal now. How excited are you for that game?
I think it's going to be one of the best games of the year. I mean, it's two marquee matchups with Shibwe and Timmy. He was the player of the year last year. Drew was the preseason player of the year this year, both All-Americans. So the inside matchup is going to be great. I think it's cool that we're playing in the arena again. I know some people are not a fan of it from a basketball standpoint, not just, it's great for concerts and all that stuff and hockey and whatever, but it's different basketball wise. It just is. That goes without saying. But I think it's fair to allow some of the other fans to come into this, have that experience. I mean, it's sold out. What, 11 minutes is what I thought I saw.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it gives people an opportunity. It's like, hey, man, if it's not in the Kennel, like we can still be loud ourselves, and let's make it raucous. Let's make it uncomfortable for Kentucky. So hopefully that's the case. So yeah, I'm excited to see it, how we perform, how we react. Um, and I think it's good, like I said. And then speaking on not being in the Kennel, they're coming to the Kennel 6 years from now. Okay, I know that's a while. And
Yeah.
then the other one is Battle in Seattle. So like we got them in one, and then we'll play them at their place, I think, once. So it kind of all worked out where it's like, all right, we'll play each other at each other's real home, and then we'll play neutrals after that. So, I mean, Kentucky is coming to Spokane. Like people got to just get off. It's not at the Kennel. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's no big deal. We're getting Kentucky to come here on a 6-year plan. So I'm looking forward to it.
No, I think it's amazing that Kentucky's coming here because obviously Michigan State has come. And nothing against Michigan State. Tom Izzo's amazing. I had him on a podcast last week, and I respect the heck out of that program. It's not Kentucky. UCLA is amazing. They're not what they were under Coach Wooden with all the championships. UCLA and Arizona being the two premier programs out of the West Coast, traditionally outside of Gonzaga. They've been to the Kennel. But the two programs, in my estimation, that still need to make it to Spokane are Kentucky and Duke. North Carolina made it a couple years ago. Those are the two. Indiana, just for historical reasons, I think you
Yeah.
could put it number 3. And Villanova would be a close 4. Would you agree with that kind of assessment of programs needing to get to Spokane?
Yeah, I think a Duke home and home would be fantastic for everybody involved, but both fan bases, and then yeah, Villanova's right up there. Indiana for the the historical aspect, but yeah, I think just getting Kentucky to come here, just I don't care where the venue is on this side of the country, and then agreeing to a 6-year plan is plenty good for both programs, and I think people should be excited, which they are obviously, but they should be excited that they get an opportunity to be loud and raucous and kind of cover what the students are normally expected to do in that atmosphere. So hopefully it's loud. Hopefully it turns into a hostile environment, because like Cal beat us last time he was in Spokane was when he was with Memphis, right? And
Yeah.
was kind of the reason Fewy stopped going to the arena. If everybody wants full disclosure, he just he just thinks his teams don't play well there, which is mostly true. It's a different shooting environment. You played in there, I played in there. I had good games in there in high school. I had okay games there. 2 games I played there in college. So take what you want out of it. But it's definitely not a basketball arena.
Yeah, no, it's built for hockey and concerts, as you
Yep.
mentioned. I love the fact that they play high school games there for the kids in this area. I'm glad that Spokane's playing there, or Gonzaga's playing there once. I wish they would play one game a year there, just so the people who can't get to the kennel due to ticket requirements or availability could see them. But the last question, Mo, and I know we try to go 2 episodes a week. Last question I got for you this week is: you and Cal had a nice run in, and it might not have been you and Cal, it might have been you and Cal's team. And I've talked to Coach Cal about this in the past when I've talked to him during radio preps during the NCAA tournament. Give us your version of you against Memphis and what Coach Cal had to tell his team about you. Because if I get him on my podcast later this week, which I think I will, ask him the same question.
So this has been told to me third hand. So I'm going off the person who told me this. He apparently before our game, because we played him in a non-conference, that used to be that. Remember, you used to have a week off or a bye. So then, if your RPI was dipping, and you had a good team, you knew how to go schedule like a random non-conference. So Memphis, Gonzaga at the time were 2 programs that needed that type of boost. So we went to FedEx Forum and played them just kind of randomly. And I apparently Cal told his guys, don't talk trash to me or just leave me alone. And one of their guys, Sean, what was his last name? He played in the league
Williams, Sean
Williams, good dude. We laughed about it when we saw each other in the league. Good dude. Played in the league for 10 years. I can't remember. I got fouled or something. He started yapping at me, and then I got going and scored, 34 for the game. They beat us, so they always get but I think the reason it was told to me is because I guess Cal always tells that story when he's around Gonzaga people. He tells it better than I do, obviously, and he added some expletives in there. But yeah, he was like telling his guys, "Don't mess with me," and they started to, and I started scoring. So you should ask him about it. But it was relayed to me third person.
Well, I think I'm going to have him on the podcast later. I'm waiting to hear back because they play Michigan State this week. They've got an unfortunate team event due to a tragedy within their program. They have to go kind of take care of. And so the time is limited, but I know he's looking forward to Spokane. Please, Adam, do this for me. When he walks up to give Coach Few a handshake before the game, just kind of give him the and one look or something like, hey, you need somebody.
No, they beat Dan. They beat us. I can't say anything to him. Okay, you know how this works. Like, and God bless them, and they beat us. So I'm gonna shake his hand and say, "How you doing, Coach?" You know what I mean, or something to that nature. But yeah, no, I'm not. If we lose, I'm not saying nothing.
All right, I got you. Fair enough. So, for week 2 of Gonzaga Nation SI, he's Adam Morrison. I'm Dan Dickau. We're bringing you the inside track. So, Mo, appreciate you joining. Look forward to connecting again next week.
Thanks.